Hi everyone, this video is about solving quadratic equations using completing the square. Now this particular topic needs a lot of explanation, so that's why I divided this lesson into two videos. So on this video, I'm going to discuss to you the first thing you need to know about completing the square, and I will give you two examples wherein the quadratic equations have rational roots. And then in my next video, I'll give you examples wherein the roots are irrational and imaginary. All right. So this is what I'm talking about. The first thing we need to know in completing the square. First, find the number that must be added to make each of the following perfect square trinomial. So here we have, excuse me, x squared plus 8x plus, what is that number that will make this a perfect square trinomial? So the procedure for that is simply divide that second term into 2. The answer is 4, and you square that, the answer will be 16. So 16 is the answer to that. Now the reason why this is called a perfect square trinomial is because if we factorize this one, this is equal to x plus 4 squared. Right, so that's the objective later on that we will be doing. Next, here again, simply divide the second term by 2, that's negative 10, and then you square that, 100. And of course, if you notice, the one that we're adding is always positive. All right. Again, this is called a perfect square trinomial because we can express that as this, right? Third example, we have x squared minus 7x plus, what is that number that will make this a perfect square trinomial? Now this is an odd number. We divide that by 2. It's going to be decimal. It's negative 3.5. But in some cases, again, here, it depends on the teacher. Some teachers, they prefer decimal. Some teachers, they prefer fraction. So in my case, I just want to keep it as a fraction. All right, so that's negative 7 over 2. You square that, that's 49 over 4. So this is 49 over 4. And again, if we want to express that or factorize this one, this is x minus 7 over 2 squared. So that's minus, it's minus here, that's plus, so that's x plus, that's minus 20, so that's x minus 10. Finally, what if we have a fraction like this one? So x squared plus 3 over 5x plus what? Now this is easy. You might think this is complicated because we will divide this by 2, right? Now, the excuse me, the shortcut here is simply multiply 3 over 5 by 1/2. So 3 over 5, multiply that by 1/2, that's 3 over 10. All right, and then of course you will square that. The answer is 9 over 100. And again, if you want to express that or factorize this one, this is x plus 3 over 10 squared. Now I'm just doing this because later on we will be doing the factoring in my two examples. All right, so let's go now to the first example. Again, just like what I said, I'll give you two examples about solving quadratic equation using completing the square, and the roots here are irrational. So expect that the fractions will be integers or fractions. All right. First example, x squared plus 10x plus 24. Maybe you're thinking, oh, there's a constant number there, but if you notice, this is not a perfect square trinomial. It's not. So the first thing we will do is to isolate that constant number on the right side of the equation normally. Sometimes it's on the left, but most of the time it's going to be on the right side. So I'm going to subtract 24 here on both sides. This is going to give me x squared plus 10x plus, what is that number there that will make this a perfect square trinomial? And of course, if we add a number on the left, we will also add a number on the right side. Okay, and of course, we already learned this earlier. To find a number on that left, simply divide the middle term by 2. That gives us 5, and then you will square that. So it's going to be 25. You add 25 on the left, add 25 on the right side. Now, this is what we're going to do. Express that as binomial square, right? Because this is a perfect square trinomial. This is just equal to x, that's plus 10, so plus square root of 25 is 5 squared. That's also because of this, right? Equals negative 24 plus 25 equals 1. So once you have this, the next steps are going to be easier. All right, so what we're going to do here, get rid of that exponent 2 by finding the square root of both sides of the equation. So this is x plus 5 equals positive negative 1. So which means we will be having two possible answers here. The first one is x plus 5 equals positive 1, and then the next one is x plus 5 equals negative 1. Alrighty, so subtract 5 on both sides. This gives us negative 4. Here, subtract 5 on both sides. This is going to give us negative 6. So these are the roots or the answers to the problem. Alright, let me give you my last example. Okay, so 2x squared minus x minus 10 equals 0. Again, the first step is to isolate that constant number on the right side, or move that to the right side of the equation. Now, in some cases, you will see a problem wherein it's already on the right side. So if that's the case, then that's good. All right. So 2x squared minus x equals 10. Now, notice this. If you compare this to my previous example, all right, and then this is my example now, I think most of you now is thinking that, excuse me, a is not equal to 1. That is correct. So a here is not equal to 1. We have a 2 here. So what are we going to do with that 2? Well, that's easy. We want that to be equal to 1. All right, and to do that, we will simply divide each term by whatever that a is. If it's not equal to 1, we will divide each term by that number. All right, so since this is 2, we'll divide each term by 2. Now that's 1. All right, so plus, this is 5 plus, there you go. So this is x over 2, or that's actually 1/2. And if you remember what we did earlier, if b is a fraction, we will simply multiply that by 2, right? So negative 1/2 times 1/2. Okay, let me just repeat this and emphasize this. If b is a fraction, simply multiply it by 1/2 and then square. All right, so that's negative 1 over 4 square, which is 1 over 16. So this is 1 over 16, 1 over 16. Let me just do it like this, that. All right, now the left side of the equation is going to be x minus the square root of 1 over 16 is 1/4. It's the same as this one. And then for this, cross multiply, that's 80. Let's just do this. That's 80, right? So the denominator of 5 is 1. Multiply that. That's 1. 1 times 16 is 16. 80 plus 1 is 81 over 16. All right, and of course the next step here is find the square root of both sides of the equation. That gives us x minus 1/4 equals positive negative 9 over 4. Okay, so the two solutions are x minus 1/4 equals 9 over 4. X minus 1/4 equals negative 9 over 4. Okay, so plus 1/4 plus 1/4. X equals 10 over 4, which is equivalent to 5 over 2. This one, we add 1/4 here, and 1/4. They have the same denominator, that's good. So negative 8 over 4, which is equal to negative 2. So that's how you solve quadratic equations using completing the square. Now in my next video, I will give you two examples wherein the roots are irrational and imaginary. So thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel Like this video, share this to your friends. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.